I want to welcome back to our program John Hovanesian from Harvard Eye Associates. Welcome back.
Great to see you, Michael. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. I was going to say we're gearing up for the holidays. A lot of things
are
are happening. And I'm sure you're going to be taking some time off. But you recently took a little time off. You went to London, but it wasn't all play. It was also some very interesting thing about kind of the origins, the beginning of like modern cataract procedures.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to be among 150 cataract surgeons from around the world who were invited for a really special historic event in cataract surgery. It was the celebration of the 75th anniversary of the first intraocular lens implant, the first lens placed inside the eye, in cataract surgery to replace the human lens.
So for cataracts before that, was there a treatment, or was it just sorry?
That's a great question. So in the old days of cataract surgery, and honestly, not many people will remember somebody who went through this because it has been so long we've been using these lenses. But it used to be we'd take the lens out of the eye and that was it. And you would wear very thick eyeglasses or contact lenses, which, we were doing this in those days only in very advanced cataract and very older patients, and it was pretty tough for them to wear contacts. So a lot of them wore these thick eyeglasses. And that was a problem. It really was not an ideal solution for
Right, so the giant Coke bottle that ones, the kind of the joke ones you see now, that actually blur your vision on purpose to make you walk into walls. So cataracts would just be something that we just, losing my vision, and to the point where, okay, now I'm literally blind and take it out, it's better than nothing.
That's right, and there are parts of the world where that's still the case. We talked about Armenia. That's still the case in parts of Armenia where people are blind, from cataract. But in those days, anything that restored light to the eye was a positive, even if it required Coke bottle glasses afterwards. But there's an interesting story that happened during World War II to a British fighter pilot who was shot down in his plane. And the canopy, which then was made of a new material called plastic, and it shattered that plastic, this early material, and shards of it went inside his eyeball. He was seen by an RAF surgeon named Harold Ridley, who looked at it and said, gosh, I mean, this is a bad injury, but the eye's actually not reacting badly to this piece of plastic in it.
Kind of like it would normally a foreign element, infection or that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, and that still can happen, infection, but there was not in this case infection, so he was lucky not to have that. But the foreign body itself wasn't causing problems. And at that time in medicine and in ophthalmology, the dogma was any foreign body, you remove it. Why wouldn't you remove it? It must be bad for the eye. And he made the very bold action of not doing so he could observe it. And he did, and he found that over time, it continued to be well tolerated, which led to the idea that, hey, maybe we could intentionally put a foreign body inside the eye, a focusing element to take the place of the cataract lens that we remove. And so on November 29th, 1949, the very first intraocular lens implant was done by Sir Harold Ridley. He was knighted later for his invention. But he was shunned at the time. He was really kicked out of the medical establishment until they realized that, hey, this idea really does make sense.
Right, and that's that change of, like you said, it was a heresy to leave something in the eye, and then all of a sudden you put this plastic lens in there, this new kind of form of plastics. My boy, just like for graduate plastics,
Yeah, that's right.
It's the future.
That's right. It's the future.
And so it just kind of paved the way for everything all the advances we have today.
It's incredible, yeah, what it's led to for us. I mean, it all had to start somewhere, and so a bold surgeon who made that choice that really nobody else was willing to make led the way. And so it was a lovely event that they had for the foundation, the Ridley Foundation, Harold Ridley's family foundation that supports eye care in the developing world that we went to, and it was really a lovely event. But it reminds us of how far we've come in 75 years. Harvard Eye's been here 50 years, but it's, lens implants 75.
Yeah. So let's talk about cataracts and what is, for folks who don't quite know, maybe they haven't experienced it themselves, what is the ultimate cause of cataract? So what does it look like?
Yeah, so a cataract means that the internal lens inside the eye, the one we're born with, becomes cloudy over time. And it's a gradual process that begins, honestly in our 20s and 30s when we get the first signs of clouding. Progresses throughout life. One sign of impending cataract is in our 40s when we start to need reading glasses. that's really just the beginnings of what will lead to cataract. Later on, the lens becomes cloudy so that even with glasses, you can't see well. Far away or up close or whatever it is that you're doing becomes harder. And so as that continues to grow, it becomes an impairment for people.
Okay. And is there something, some people get cataracts, some people don't. So do we know the root cause of why some people, it happens to some?
There seems to be some genetics involved, but it's a little bit like graying of our hair, right? It's going to happen in different people at different rates, but it's caused by not one thing, but a whole bunch of different features that cause this aging process to progress. And in the case of cataract, lots of things. And of course, there are genetic conditions. There's trauma. There's exposure to UV or actually infrared light can cause cataracts. Lots of different causes, but the typical one is just the thing that kills us all: birthdays.
That gets to me
every time.
So when a patient comes to you and they're having the early signs of cataracts, what do you do? What do you look at? What do you tell them?
Yeah, so often people feel like they need new glasses, and indeed sometimes glasses do help. At some point, though, it becomes a problem that the world's best glasses cannot solve. And so then we talk about surgery, which is a really simple procedure, a 5 or 10 minute procedure while the patient is relaxed and sedated so that they're comfortable, the eye is numb, so maybe they'll see a little bit of light, but they're not seeing any detail, and it's over with. Most people say there's no pain at all, and the next day can go back to most normal activity. They can drive, they can read, they can shower, they can use a computer. So there's not a lot of downtime.
And you do one eye at a time, right? And that's one of the things people need to understand too, is like, okay, I'm got one and then we're going back to the other. Now, why do we do the one eye at the time?
It's a great question because we want to separate those risks of surgery. Any surgery has risk. It's always important to acknowledge and understand that. Putting risks into two different categories, the really bad things and the not so bad. The really bad types of things can happen about 1 in 1,000 times, and those are things like retinal detachment and infection, major bleeding that could, if we couldn't control it, lead to loss of vision or loss of the eye even. Very rare. To, 1 in 1,000 is the starting point for that. The other category is sort of the fender bender. It's the not so serious issue that is more annoying than it is blinding. Delayed healing, needing additional surgery, having a scratchy feeling in the eye, double vision, a droopy eyelid. I mean, I could go on and on. There's a bunch of things. And sometimes we can fix them, sometimes we can't fix them. Those are each about 1 in 100 type risks with surgery.
Now, as 50 years of Harvard Eye, there have been many changes in the way, the approach of the surgery and the lenses and and just the whole procedures. What are some of the things that you're seeing now that are just the cutting edge stuff?
Well, it's just remarkable the advancements we've seen. So about 10, 15 years ago, the big advance was what we call refractive cataract surgery, where now we're not just getting rid of the cataract and putting on different glasses, we're getting rid of the cataract and in many cases the glasses as well. And that's because with that lens we put inside the eye sets the vision for the rest of the patient's life. The prescription is not expected to change in the future. So if we can get it precise enough to give them the glasses that they need inside the eye, they may not need glasses for many, I won't say all, but many of their activities.
I can get rid of these readers for once and for all?
We have ways of helping you with that. We certainly do.
And if someone is having those challenges, what's the first step that they should do? Should they go to the doctor and then you guys work out a plan?
Yeah, it's a good idea to see your eye doctor and ask them, do I have a cataract? How much is this affecting me? Really, it's driven by a feeling that you're not seeing as well as you should, even with your glasses. In some cases, patients are motivated by potentially getting rid of or reducing their need for glasses. That's not a reason to do cataract surgery, at least through insurance, but there are ways we can help those folks as well, sometimes involving similar surgery, sometimes other surgery. So talk to your eye doctor. And of course, we have a wonderful team at Harvard Eye, but there are lots of great eye doctors in the community here, and we work with virtually all of them. And if you'd like to see us, we'd be delighted to take care of anybody who can hear my voice.
All right, well, Dr. John Hovanesian, jet setter, eye doctor, Harvard Eye Associates, celebrating 50 years. Congratulations on that again.
Milestone.
And Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas to you. Have a great holiday.
Thank you. All right, you're watching This Day. We'll be right back.